Hello, everybody, and welcome to Taking Control, the ADHD podcast on rashpixel.fm. I'm Pete Wright, and right over there is Nikki Kinzer.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Pete Wright.
Oh, Nikki Kinzer.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling like I'm on top of things. I've got my wits about me. I'm feeling strong. We're wrapping up June strong.
Yep. We are.
The sun is out. It's hot. Actually, it's depressingly raining as we record this.
I was going to say the sun is not out where I'm at, but
the problem is the sun has been out, and for Father's Day, we just had the Father's Day. And
we did. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. I'm fishing. Look, the thing is, for Father's Day, the gift that I got for Father's Day from my lovely wife is she said she was going to strip and stain our deck without my involvement.
I thought you were going to say something else. So I'm really glad that you said because I was like, where's this going, Pete Wright? Where is this going? This is a PG rated podcast.
You, in this case, you are the naughty one here. This was not, I just want the record to show I did not take us down this road. I'm thinking of deck stain, everybody. Deck stain.
Moving on to deck stain. And happy Father's Day. All right,
yes,
move on. Yes, go ahead. Keep going.
She's going to strip and stain the deck. I'm going to say it real fast together, get all the words out.
Yes.
No uncomfortable pauses. And she did all that. And then we've had a lot of consternation around the house around what color we actually want to stain the deck. And we've finally picked out the colors as of last night. And she was so excited to come and start staining this morning, and it starts raining.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm super disappointed. There is much grief in my house. But I will also say, and I'm, again, fishing 19 years yesterday. I'm married to my lovely wife, and so we celebrated our anniversary. And do you know what we did? We got this is a little success story. So you talk about ADHD, you got to plan ahead, right? You got to build a plan,
right?
So because
big
19,
anniversary.
Well, it's not a big right.
Wow.
19, it's kind of a weird number. So we decided we were going to go out to a lovely dinner, and we were going to plan our 20th anniversary. What are we going to do for 20? And we're going to start putting together the plan now. Because 19's weird, but 20 we're gonna do something really cool. So we did that, awesome. And it was super fun. So plan ahead.
That's fantastic.
ADHD success story number 1. Yeah.
Can I just tell you what I did on Father's Day real quick?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we got this boat, right? This bucketless boat.
Yes.
And we were very excited. We are very excited about this boat. We've already taken it out more times than the original owner probably has. So we're very happy with this boat. So it's Father's Day. It's supposed to be in the 90s. It was this beautiful day. Started off beautiful. I mean, blue sky. It was hot outside. Like I went to the store to get some food, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a great day on the lake. I invited my dad, my mom, and of course my immediate family, my kids and my husband, and we get on the boat, and it's a little chillier than what we expected because the clouds kind of start to come in, and we're just sort of going around the boat and the lake and everything, and then all of a sudden pouring down rain
in the boat,
thunder, lightning. We're in the middle of the lake. We do not have this is not a covered boat. It was awful.
I don't care for it.
And then everybody that was on the lake was trying to get in at the same time, and there's only 2 boat docks. And so we had to wait for an hour in the line to get our boat. So my dad and I were in our truck, with the boat ramp thing to get my son and my husband, who we were supposed to be celebrating, who is out in the middle of the lake pouring down rain.
Look, I'm giving you some sound effects.
Yeah, there you go. Very good sound effects. Yeah. So it was very memorable. That was us in the middle of the lake.
Yeah.
I don't know how the weather changed so fast, but it's Oregon, and it did. Yeah. And we kept kind of laughing about how it was just a 3-hour tour, and we got we got stuck in the rain.
Only so far that joke will get you. when you're actually sitting in it.
When you're really stuck
Yeah,
in the
right,
boat
right.
with pouring down rain. So anyway, moving on.
That's fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, happy Father's Day to your fantastic husband. He's a delightful human being.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, we are going to talk about success stories today. That's the thing that you all have been sending us, and it's fantastic. Before we do that, head over to takecontroladhd.com. You can get to know us a bit better. You can listen to the show on the website or subscribe to the mailing list and make sure that you get an email each time a new episode is released. You can find us on all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Take Control ADHD. And you know what? So here's the thing. We're about to take our break. We're taking the month of July off. It's a planning month for the podcast, and we won't be producing any new episodes until August. But, in the spirit of our planning, and all we're going to try to do to make for a great ADHD podcasting this fall, we hope you will consider digging into the archives, see what you can learn. And if you appreciate what we have there, head over to patreon.com/the ADHD podcast. It is through direct member support there that we're able to continue to offer hundreds of past episodes to others to explore when they need it. So you are supporting the community by helping us support the community. Pay it forward. Patreon.com/the ADHD podcast. Thanks, everybody. And last announcement before the break, group coaching is still open. As you listen to this, the deadline is June 29th. That's only a couple days from now, but Nikki is very generous.
I am.
Yeah.
I take procrastinators.
She does.
I welcome them. I embrace them.
That's right. That's right.
Open
Embrace
arms.
the procrastinators. Deadline is June 29th, but send an email right quick. Get your name on the list, and you can work out schedules with Nikki. When does the whole thing start? July something?
It starts the week of July 9th. So it's after
Okay.
July 4th holiday.
So you got a little time. Yep. Excellent. There you go. Let's talk about some success stories. Now, this was actually, we talked a little bit about this last week. It was harder to come by.
It was.
Success stories this year. Why do you think that is? What's going on?
Well, I think it goes back to our conversation last week of what success means and how people think of it. So I think that immediately when you ask, what are some of your successes with ADHD, I kind of feel like people immediately think of the big things, like the things that they've accomplished. So it would,
I won something. I won a contest, or
or I
like
got
that.
this great job, or I graduated from college, and all of those things are great successes. But I think that a lot of people, especially with ADHD, downplay what they think is a success, and there's always a but behind it. Like, oh, I did this, but it was harder than it should have been, but it took me longer than it took somebody else. It's like
diminishing that experience. Therefore, it feels more like a failure.
Right. And so my hope is with our conversation last week, our conversation this week, and to continue, is that we really, keep a light on these accomplishments and these successes, and that people see that just trying and just thinking about it and focusing on, a new strategy or just a mind shift on how you think of something, those are all successes. Those are all ways that you're thriving with your ADHD and living your best life. And so that's why I think this is so important is so that we, the next time we do this, I hope we get more. And I hope that we get just little, it doesn't have to be paragraphs of stuff. It can just be like, hey, I walked today and I don't like walking, but I did it.
Yeah. Sure.
That kind of stuff.
I think there's another piece to it, which is the world is in a sense is in disarray right now in a lot of ways, and I think it is easy for us, sort of those of us who have an empathic streak, to feel tainted by what's going on in the world around us, and it makes our own personal successes harder to see. Through the nastiness that's going on, whatever your political leanings, whatever your sort of belief systems, there's something wrong in the world right now. And I have taken more to thinking about it just in the last couple of weeks, because I've been struggling too. I mean, we've talked about this. I've been struggling with that same sort of empathic sadness, and it's hard. It's hard to focus. It's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to do all of those things. But I'm starting to think of it like to have the airline warnings, the flight attendant warning in the beginning of the thing. You always put your oxygen mask on before you help others. And that weird reminder is something that's I found really helpful to me, that I have to take care of myself. I have to be able to focus on my own successes. What am I doing right in order to help the world in whatever way I can? And for me, I'll talk about my successes later, but I'm trying to do some things different in my way to contribute to the world. But I have to do the little stuff first, and that's what I think we're cataloging today. What are the little things that you're doing to help you kind of keep moving forward and feel like you can celebrate something? So, where do you want to start?
Well, we do have a follow-up question that came to us a while ago that doesn't have anything to do with successes. It's more of a question. And I feel bad because we haven't answered this question and we are going on a break. And so I felt like we should probably maybe examine this one first.
Okay. So we'll talk about the first question, which is just a question. And then we will get into the successes, which are fantastic. Okay. Here we go. Hi, Nikki and Pete. I have a question relating to ADHD and chronic pain. And she mentions that I had been talking about this some moons ago. I've been dealing with some chronic pain in my feet. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety in my very late teens, and in 2012, just as I was starting a promising career, I broke my spine. This led to an operation in 2013, which has stabilized my back. Thank goodness I can still walk, but has left me in chronic pain and all the issues associated with physical disability. Ironically enough, the accident led to my diagnosis of adult ADHD. Suddenly, everything made sense, for which I'm very grateful. Unfortunately, the back pain makes everyday functioning difficult, and combined with the ADHD makes my efforts to use your fantastic methods for managing ADHD and improve my life, at best difficult, at worst impossible. The frustration with all this, as well as the compounded isolation I feel, is starting to feel too oppressive. Not to sound all doom and gloom, I persist every day. I was hoping that either yourselves or a pain expert could offer some advice on how to manage this situation. I'm about to turn 30 and I'm getting married at the end of the year. Eek! And I need help to turn this around somehow. Thanks in advance. Lots of love and respect all the way from Perth, Western Australia. Hello, Perth. Oh, okay. First of all, 30's not that old. Let's get that right out of the bag. There's nothing to be scared about with 30.
Yeah, 30 is young. Oh my gosh,
30 years young.
And I see success stories in here too. So this actually was a really good thing to bring up because she's persisting. She's getting married. There's some really great things going on. The question though, relating to ADHD and chronic pain, what do you think?
So chronic pain it's challenging, and I am by no means a chronic pain expert, but I did live with pain that certainly frustrated me getting out of bed, and I found I could only because I couldn't walk successfully, and that was very difficult for a very long time, and not lifelong, but years, and it was frustrating, and it's like a veil that comes down over your life that is constantly there. It's like the thing through which everything else, all other input must pass. Love and grace and kindness and everything has to pass through this like mesh that is on you, oppressively on you all day, every day, until hopefully you're able to get sleep, which is not a guarantee. And so that, when she says it's starting to feel too oppressive, oh my God, yes, it is oppressive. It is, it feels impossible. I think for me, the issue was having people in my life to continue to remind me that time will do what it is meant to do. If you give up on time, you've given up on everything. What time does is allow you the space, the headroom to try to get through one thing at a time. In this case, it's finding a way to live with the chronic pain. And yeah, it might make you feel, it might exacerbate the ADHD component of your life, but that may be okay because you have to get through the chronic pain. This gets through hierarchy of needs, right? Let's go back to Maslow, that you have to get through the health and safety concerns before you can get through everything else. And so that's kind of where I come down on it. There were a lot of days where, I just fell apart because I was addressing the pain. I was addressing the part where I couldn't stand up. I was addressing the part where I just needed to go see another doctor and figure out how to get to the other side of it and to heal. And until I could heal, I couldn't do anything. And so for me, it was all about the community. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I agree. I think the community, the people around you definitely will help support whatever accommodations you need to when the ADHD is in full force, right? Yeah. Because you have to you're concentrating on the pain, not necessarily managing your ADHD at that time.
Right.
So I definitely think, yes, that support, asking for help, getting those kinds of accommodations that you need to help you get through it. Talk to a pain specialist. I don't know what's available in Australia, but I know that my husband deals with a lot of chronic pain as well with his MS, and he has a pain specialist that he goes to and has gone through different types of therapy, physical therapy. He's done some swimming. He has like different stretches and things that he does in the morning to kind of help manage some of that. And I have another client actually that I work with who deals with chronic pain. And one of the things that she just told me last week, and I don't know if this will help with Jess or not, but it could be an idea. What she does is she listens to audible books when she's doing certain things. And so what happens is she's concentrating on the book and doing her dishes, and it helps her not think about the pain as much. And so that could be something to try. I don't know if that will do you any good, but it helps this lady.
It's a distraction therapy, distraction, just distract yourself from it. But whatever the case is, that giving yourself space to heal is really important. And I think the permission, we talk about this all the time, permission, give yourself permission, say it over and over and say it out loud. Let your ears hear the words, it's okay for me to heal, right? I mean, it's okay for me to put myself in a space, in a mood to heal, and other things may slip. Other things may have to be, I may have to recover from those things later. But I'm not going to be able to function. I'm not going to be able to function as a spouse. I'm not going to be able to function, as as an employee or starting a company or a job, whatever you're doing with your life. You're not going to be able to do that if you don't give yourself permission and mood and space to heal. It defines everything. Yeah. And, I think that applies for ADHD too. Once you heal, once you feel like you're easily, more comfortably on the road to recovery, give yourself permission to have ADHD, right? I have ADHD and I am okay. I'll recover from this too.
You're right.
Whatever the short term is, you'll get through it.
Absolutely.
But it may be something we need to talk to one of our doctor buddies and see if we can possibly get somebody for the fall to come on and talk about the veil of pain. This is not the first time we've had somebody ask this question, and I think it's worth further exploration with somebody who is not just us.
Right.
It's a great question. So there you go. There's some success stories hidden in that one.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. We've got a couple of audio submissions that we want to play here, and so let's just see how this works. The first one comes from our very own John.
Hey, this is John, fellow Patreon member, and when I first got the call to action to talk about successes, I immediately disregarded it, thinking, no, that's not me. But the more I thought about it and saw some people posting the forum, the more I thought, a 1-year recap. It's been a year since I did group coaching with Nikki. And I thought my goal going into that was to delegate and try to do all these things. And if I just sit back and think about my successes over the last year, I've done a lot better after being in the hot seat and doing that kind of, keeping each other accountable, defining my goals, defining what of those goals brought me the most value, getting tactical about what my next steps are, identifying what my superpowers, I wish I was a superhero, but those routines, time blocking, gating, all those things have been amazing to impact to my life. So I consider each one of those things to be little successes. So I hope you can think back and think, well, it's more about the overall. It might seem like you haven't made a lot of success, but I bet if you think back about the smaller things that you've implemented, you're getting a lot of value, and you probably have a lot more successes than you think.
I love that from John, because I think it's a great setup to our conversation today, to sharing these things, and what we talked about when we opened, that this is super difficult, right? It's really challenging to do when you're not accustomed to looking for the good in your life and what you've done. So it's hard to do.
Yeah.
So
it's a
thank
challenge.
you so much for that, John. Let's mix it up. We're shaking it up here. So David writes in and he says, "Hey, saw you're looking for some ADHD success stories. I got to tell you, I love this one. A couple of months ago, my local ADHD support group had the founder and head of CADAC, Center for ADD Awareness Canada, our national advocacy group similar to CHAD. She finished off her talk with an appeal. She shared that she and CADAC, I love that acronym, had some success over the last 20 years or so in advocating for ADHD children with school boards. However, whenever she tries to advocate for adults with ADHD, when she approaches our politicians, they throw up their hands and say, 'We never hear that this is an issue with our constituents.' Hello? We have ADHD. We're highly unlikely to reach out to our elected politicians." So CADAC was trying to get a letter writing campaign going, but weren't having much success. So she was pleading with us to write even a single letter. In the room with a couple of friends, we had an epiphany. As with most people, we struggled to get things done, so they would get together for 3-hour sessions and hold each other accountable to get things done. They had this brilliant idea to apply this practice to the letter writing campaign. So they ended up getting together and kept each other moving forward, writing letters. Our initial goal was to see how many letters we could get written by our recent provincial election here in Ontario, Canada. We hosted 7 3-hour sessions plus 1 3-hour pilot session in which we managed to get close to 20 letters written, and we would have had more if we could have catered to people outside the Toronto area. We called the campaign ADHD Votes, and the website is ADHDvotes.com. I'm still needing to update it from the last session announcement, but we'll be getting to that soon. We're also hoping to hold an ADHD rally of some sort in the not-too-distant future, and possibly some large sidewalk chalk murals in front of government buildings, especially if the letters get a cool reception, thinking something like, "Adults with ADHD, still capable of causing a scene. ADHD Votes." I love it. That's the story. 20 letters by neurotypical standards may seem like very few, but to those of us with ADHD, we know it's a huge accomplishment. Hallelujah. I think that is epic. Congratulations, David. That's fantastic. What a wonderful way to contribute. I think that's just great.
Very cool.
So there you go. Thank you, David. Thanks for being inspirational
That's
for
awesome.
all of us. It's great. Okay, I got another one. Let's see. This is wonderful. This one comes from Lynn. Hi, guys. I have 2 related success stories. I'm a social partner dancer, meaning non-competitive, not the stylized dancing associated with ballroom dancing, but still encompassing a variety of dance styles like swing, waltz, cha-cha, Argentine tango. I do that all the time. Sometimes alone. I just tango.
Just start doing the tango.
But only the Argentine kind. I'm 50, but I was diagnosed with ADHD last year. For years, I've had a meditation practice, but most of the time I'm frustrated with my inability to meditate. My mind immediately fills with all the things that need to go on my to-do list. At some point, I realized that there's one place where I meditate for long stretches of time without effort, when I'm dancing. Here's what makes partner dancing such good meditation, or so good for focus. Each partner's movements depend on the others, so there's no benefit in thinking ahead to the next step. You don't know what the appropriate next step can be until you see how your partner interprets this one. When I'm dancing, I'm utterly, entirely in the present moment. If I let my mind drift or jump ahead, I almost immediately mess up, and we as a team have to recover together. Once you accept that, it's much easier to stay in the present. Adore that footnote. I took a break from dancing for about 15 years. Then, when the time was right, I went back to dancing. So soon afterwards, I started a relationship with another dancer, and we started taking classes together. And then teaching classes together. 8 years later, it dawned on me that the reason my skill had improved so dramatically was that I had accidentally acquired an accountability partner. Had I been taking classes on my own or going to dances solo, I probably would have found lots of excuses to skip them. But when I knew I'd be letting my partner down, it kept me consistent. It's a great lesson for me. I find it easier to be responsible and consistent for someone else than for myself. In this case, we both benefited. That's it. 2 accidental success stories.
Oh, that's great.
I adore that. So, what she's talking about here is mindful awareness, and when you're getting into a meditation practice, sometimes you'll hear that. I know it's a huge sort of mantra around Headspace. If you're a Headspace user, right, this whole idea of that it's okay to be at peace and aware of what's going on around you at the same time, and or aware of sort of what you need to respond to at the same time, and find yourself at peace. Like, it's okay to give yourself permission to walk that balance, because it seems like cognitive dissonance, but it's really not. I mean, it's something we all do every day. And with ADHD, developing a practice and a habit around that can be super useful. So.
It's fantastic. I do. I love that too. And I love the accidentally acquired an accountability partner.
It's just perfect.
That's awesome.
It's just perfect. All right, let's jump into one of the to another audio comment here and see how this goes.
I have been working with Nikki for about 2 months now, 3 months. And I have to say that everything that we talked about has impacted my life so much that it is not just being seen in my own day-to-day life, but also in the people around me. I look forward to the podcast with Nikki and Pete, and I look forward to getting the texts that come with my coaching, and the spirit and encouragement that I get from you guys is just wonderful. And I just have to say thank you so very much for everything. I've been more able to handle tasks and get things done and projects. And I've always struggled with it my entire life. And now,
unfortunately, Skype cut her off.
It did.
That was the end of the voicemail. But it's so great. It's so sweet. And I think what do you think? There are so many little successes in there.
Well, I can tell you because I coach with her. I know probably where she was going with that.
Yeah.
Is that it is the small stuff. It goes back to the small stuff that, at the beginning of our coaching relationship, I think that there was probably a feeling of all of this stuff has to get done. It's all important. And her coming to terms and accepting that, there are successes with just doing one task at a time and planning that out and following through with it. But then if it doesn't follow through in the time frame that she originally thought, that's okay, because it's still on her radar. She's still thinking about it and giving herself, permission and grace that other things kind of got in the way, and that's okay. Like, it's still going to happen. And so I don't know exactly what she was going to say at the end, but my guess is that's probably where it was headed, is that the small stuff matters. The small steps matter. And I just have to say, it's so sweet that these guys, that the people that called in are actual clients of mine. I really did not intend for that to happen.
They're plants.
I did not reach out to my clients and say, call in.
I assure you, they're not plants. Thank you so much for doing that, you guys. Oh, we've got one more. Shall we do this last one?
Yeah.
Here we go. In 2016, I stumbled onto a few of Dr. Barkley's videos that changed my life. Those led to a lot of research, podcasts, yours included, articles, books, changes in diet, and the addition of supplements. I've been at my father's since the divorce, initially to work on debt. This year, I lost my job in March. I've grinded out every day and fought for everything I have. Do I consider this success? No. A work in progress? Do I consider this persevering? Yes. I've battled ADHD, depression, and anxiety my entire life. Now, I feel like I'm one step ahead of the game. Aside from discovering how negatively ADHD could affect me when left untreated, my divorce has been the largest catalyst for change. I'm educated now. I take a proactive, conscious, and self-aware approach to life and mental health. I'm doing all of this without any help. I don't feel like my parents prepared me at all. At all. At all. I was someone who needed all the extra help I could get. Well, I got it. Then, due to untreated ADHD, I lost it. I lost her because I'm combative and oppositional. It took 35 years, but I finally feel like my life is under control. I have goals. I have a clearer path to what I want and how I want to get there. Every little strategy I get through research or podcasts or books brings me closer to a day when I can be as happy as I was when I had my family all under one roof, me, her, my son, fur babies and all. Sorry for the extra long story. This is all without meds, as I cannot find anyone to prescribe. Primary care physician isn't comfortable and doesn't know much about it either way. I'm now an advocate for those of us with the disorder and try to help whenever, however, and whomever I can. That is a touching story, and it is. I think it's a good one to wrap up on, because my goodness, if there's ever a way to shine a light at the end of the tunnel, right? I mean, that's the experience here. That it sucks. You can go down an awful dark path, but being able to turn it around is certainly a reason to celebrate.
Well, and I love that, do I consider this a success? No, but it's a work in progress. Yep. Do I consider this persevering? Yes. That's the success, is being able to definitely be able to see odds were against him, and he's beating those odds, and he's taking control of his life, and he's creating his life. And, I think it's a great story. I think it's, I love that he's advocating for others and helping where he can, because that makes a huge difference. And, I love it. I love it. I love all these stories, and I want more.
Me too. I think that if anything comes out of this conversation and the conversation last week is we've got to do a better job of redefining what success means for ourselves. That's a big lesson learned for me. I asked my daughter, in the spirit of something you said earlier, I asked my daughter, give me a success. She said it's really simply, she said, taking more time. I said, what do you mean? She said, on everything. Everything. If I just stop and say, I'm going to take a few extra minutes on this one thing, whatever it is, I'm going to be fine. I need to slow down. And that's the one of the biggest fights that she deals with every day, is just slowing down. Just take a minute. Take a minute to reflect. Take a minute. Wake up a little bit earlier. Set that alarm 10 minutes earlier. Give yourself the freedom to take more time. And I thought that was a really sweet way to respond, and very easy. It's not a huge success, but it's recognizing that when you do that one little thing,
it makes a difference.
It makes a big difference.
That's cool.
What do you got? Anything else? Are we done?
I think so.
I think we're done. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for joining the live stream for our Patreon members. And a reminder, again, we're not going to be here next week or the weeks after, but we'll catch you in August. First Tuesday in August. We'll have a show for you. Promise. We'll be here. But don't leave. We're going to be hanging out in the Facebook group. We're going to be hanging out on Patreon. We're gonna find some things to talk about online. We just won't have podcasts. So don't unsubscribe. That's what I'm saying. Don't unsubscribe. Stick around.
No.
All right, everybody. Thank you for your time and attention. On behalf of Nikki Kinzer, I'm Pete Wright. We'll catch you next month right here on Taking Control, the ADHD podcast.